Welcome to the 3Haunted podcast, where we bring you all things horror, supernatural, folklore, mythology, and all things that go bump in the night.
What's up, everybody? This is your co host, Ashley Lunar Goddess, Gorilla Girl filmmaker and horror loving cinephile. I'm just your average podcast producing badass.
I'm John Thomas. Some would say that I go a little too far with my love of all things horror, paranormal, and meta, but I say, talk nerdy to me, and I'm all yours.
What's up, ghouls, gals, and all of our horror movie lovers out there? Grab your passports, because in today's episode, we're once again going international. That's right, International Horror Part 2. Now, you know we can't do an international horror episode without special guest Robb Moreira. So, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position as we take off into the world of international horror films.
Woohoo!
Welcome, Rob!
What's going down?
That was very wordy, but I don't care. We're rolling with it.
I dig it.
You made it wordier than I did. I'm like, wow.
I'm feeling very verbose today, apparently.
All the words. All the words.
How have you been?
I've been good. You know, it's October. 'Tis the season to be scared. And I'm excited. This is like the best time of the year. I feel like, now is when you revisit some old favorites, some new things are creeping about, and you get to tell your friends about all the bloody goodness that exists in the film realm. So it's nice. October is always a fun time.
Yeah, I feel like, throughout the year, we all live spooky, right? The ones who really love horror.
Yeah.
But during this time, I feel is like when we're the most normalized.
Yes.
Because everybody's like, let's get
everybody's
spooky.
trying to be like us.
Yeah,
That's why,
right?
you know what I mean? Like, they want to be cool too. Like, I watched this really cool movie, man. And it's like, man, that's like C level, man. Let's get to the A level horror.
Right? Or like, I watched that back in January. Come on.
Right?
Whatever.
Yeah, man. That's like, now's the time that we get to flex a little. We get to flex our nerddom for the gore. So it's nice.
No, I love it. It's like, I
Yeah.
give them A for effort. When people are like, man, there's this really cool film. I don't know if you've heard about it, but have you
Yeah.
seen? And then it's, some really just like, have you seen Evil Dead? It's like, oh.
But it's nice. It's always awesome to feel like that senior in high school, the senior of horror high school, basically,
Yeah.
and like seeing the freshmen coming in and just getting their feet wet, and it's like, oh, look at you, like getting into it. Let's talk about it. What did you like?
It's cute.
You know?
I also feel like it's cool because you get a threshold of what they like or what they're into.
Yeah.
So they're like, I
Yeah.
like this movie. And it's like, ooh, if you liked that one, I got a list for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch these.
Yeah, because I think that's the beauty of horror is that you got like straight up American guinea pig kind of just gore, gore fests, or you want something a little bit more heady, you know what I mean? Like The Perfection. Like, I feel like that's like a nice heady kind of horror flick, but yeah, so I think it's nice. There's a place for everybody, Well, you got your Hellraiser fan, and then you got your something a little bit more psychological. So I think it's pretty cool. So everybody exists somewhere on the spectrum of horror.
Yes, it's just finding. And I love it. I love the challenge when someone's like, I don't like horror films. I'm like, yes, you do. You just haven't seen the ones you like yet. We're going to find it.
And I think what's interesting is seeing what about about the movies that they enjoyed the most, or what it was that stuck out to them that actually made it entertaining. Did it happen to be the acting? Because I know a lot of horror fans were kind of like, the acting level we could take it or leave it. We just want to see some good splatter, right? You know what I mean? So
it depends.
Yeah.
I think too, it's knowing going in. Like, if you know something's gonna be campy, I'm here for it. I like to know ahead of time, but then I'm like, yeah, let's get as cheesy, campy, corny, and let's just lean into that.
Oh, for sure. Like, especially when you know it's gonna be like straight up camp nonsense. You're like, give it to me. Like, let's
Give
do
it
it.
to
Like,
me.
make it as stupid as possible. Like, there's no like to me. I I don't know if you guys have seen. Did you guys see the Corey Feldman movie Splatter?
No.
Is it
Oh,
campy?
oh,
I'm
it
assuming
is.
you said Feldman.
It is the juiciest, campiest student film nonsense I've ever seen. And every second was incredible. It was god awful acting, terrible effects, and I loved every second of it because you could tell that Corey Feldman kind of took himself serious doing it. It was just so good. If you can catch it, watch it.
So if you enjoyed that, then I don't know if you've seen it yet, but have you watched Bury the Bride?
No.
Okay, so it is Rob Zombie's brother, Power Man 5000, Spider
Oh,
One.
Spider One, yeah.
He's now doing horror films as well.
Is he?
And
Oh,
casting his wife as a
Spider.
lead.
Oh, Spider.
So-
Stop walking in Big Bro's footsteps, man.
So, but versus, Rob Zombie with the dysfunctional family kind of vibe
Right.
that he goes with, he's doing more of the creature feature. And
Oh, okay.
and oh my gosh, like every word you described, like student film.
I gotta watch
I
it
don't.
now.
It just you can't help but just
Oh.
love the outrageous, hilarious, absurd nature of it. I mean, the
Oh,
lead
man.
protagonist is Scout Taylor Compton, so kudos to him for casting her. He got her in it. I'm assuming that's a zombie connection, but
Okay.
cast her. The acting of the two leads actually really solid. Like his wife actually can
Huh.
act.
Oh,
And
nice.
and then they had Scout and she's got chops. And so the acting it worked, but oh my gosh, what they were given to work with. I'm like, you poor girls, you can't save it. You can't.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. I'm
It's
gonna
like
have to
one of
check
those,
this out.
okay, I'll do this favor for you because I was in your brother's movie kind of thing. For Scout, she's just like, whatever.
Just like,
Like,
fine.
sure, I was in one Brothers movie. Let's do
Well,
it.
do the other Brothers movie.
Yeah. That's amazing.
There is a scene where
Mm.
because of course there's like trope characters everywhere. They're not that complex. And one of them, she's the sassy, trampy, very robust female character of the
Alright.
friend group. Literally an entire song. It wasn't a clip of or cuts away from or to an entire song of her dancing very provocatively in front of car headlights
Oh.
because they had to turn the headlights on when they turned the music up so then she could start dancing with her silhouette doing all of these things the entire song.
Oh, goodness.
Entire song. I was like,
oh
oh
my
my gosh.
gosh.
Kudos to her for her endurance. I wonder how many takes that took.
Oh boy. Yeah, really. Oh, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Their movie opens, well, it's one of those that shows you a scene and then it's like 2 days ago,
Right.
2 days prior. So you get like,
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah. So when you get to the 2 days prior, it is like a warm. They upped the warm tone. They crushed the black, so it's just like really stark contrast, and they threw a really heavy vignette on it. I stuck with it. It was campy as hell. This just was everything you would expect probably from
Okay.
Spider-1 venturing into film.
Right.
But the script concept was interesting. I will
All
say the idea was interesting. I think they just
Mm.
gotta work on it a little more. Oh, and Cher's son is in it.
Chaz?
Well, Chaz is a producer, but I think Chaz might have helped write it and was also in
Oh.
it as a character.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
I will
cool.
say Chaz is an interesting, like the character they wrote for themselves was an interesting character. It was kind of neat. So
All right. Gonna have to check it out. It's gonna have to go on the list.
just expect splatter. That's all.
Okay. Splattered levels of.
Just expect that, and you'll have a good
Okay.
time.
Fair enough. Awesome. Okay, cool. See, I like that kind of movie. As long as I know what I'm getting going into it, then I'm cool with it.
I was feeling festive because the spooky season is upon us. So I was traveling for one of the conventions, and in the hotels they sometimes have like the free streaming stuff. So they had
Oh, right, right,
Tubi,
right.
and that's how I found it. It's free on Tubi. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That
yeah,
makes sense.
there weren't
Nice.
a lot of options on
Yeah,
Tubi,
I
but
feel like in October I think is when we are our most forgiving
yes.
in terms of some flicks, right? Like, have you noticed that, John? Like you might be like, you know what, this looks like crap, but I'll give it a shot. Why
Right?
not?
Yeah, might as
I'm
well.
feeling seasonal.
Exactly. I've seen some of this other stuff. Let's see what this can do. Let's see.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm feeling seasonal.
I'm feeling generous for this season. I'll give you a view. I'll give you a click.
I think we're just so happy for it to be our time, like completely,
Yeah.
that we're like, sure, screw it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you know where I feel I do that a lot on Hulu, because Hulu's been like,
Yes.
I feel like they've been trying to like catch up with Shudder a little bit because they got a lot of horror, but like you watch them and you're like, oh, you guys are just kind of putting anything out there, huh?
Speaking of which, did you watch that Alien home invasion movie? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, which one?
They just put it on there. It's this lady. She's at her house.
Oh, I know it's on my list though. I know which
Watch
one you're
it.
talking about.
Is
Watch
it good?
It's really good
I
though, right?
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was great. They try to go all A24 towards the end, but like it's really good.
Yeah, I heard like that as an alien flick, it's actually really good. Like it has its moments that are done, that are well done, and a lot of people liked that they went the OG gray alien route with how they look. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Is it No One Will Save You?
Yeah,
I believe so.
yes,
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because I always get that
Yeah.
one and whatever Netflix has. It's like almost the same title, which is a completely different movie. Confused. So like, yeah.
No One Will Save You from Aliens or whatever's in this movie.
Right?
I'll add it to my list.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that one. I was itching for that one to drop on Hulu, because that one's supposed to be really good. And I feel like it's been a bit since we've had a good alien flick that was scary, as opposed to like War of the Worlds because that's not like that's scary in a different way. That's scary like, oh crap, what if aliens like really came here and took over, as opposed to like, oh, they're just a scary thing that's just out to get us. I feel like that's such a different kind of fear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. So I think it's about high time we had aliens be a little scary.
I'm going to add it to my list.
Yeah.
And speaking of lists, you gave us a list.
Yeah. I got a couple of flicks. There are two that I recently watched, and I have a couple that have been on my radar that are ready to be seen. One of the ones that I watched, which was fun, it is very predictable, but it was a fun teen horror flick. It's on Netflix. It's called Killer Book Club. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it was fun. Teenagers, getting into shenanigans and people start dying, so it's the usual kind of idea. Very predictable. You kind of know who the killer is. They threw that one twist towards the end that you're kind of like, oh, okay, sure. All right. I guess there's a twist now.
Okay,
Fine.
sure.
Yeah. Like I'll allow it. Sure. But that was good. So that was a fun Spanish one. But what I found interesting, I don't know if you guys found it a little jarring. It was jarring for me because when I was watching it in Spanish. I didn't watch the dubbed version. So I was watching it in Spanish. But even when you're watching it in Spanish, all the text is in English. And I found that really jarring for me. Like my brain was kind of like, what's going on? Like, why do we have to keep retranslating? I don't get this. I don't need to code switch while I'm watching my movie. Stop it. So I found that very interesting. But I guess I understand because it was made for Netflix. So I guess I get it. But I don't know. I found that very interesting. But what did you guys think of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, given that it was made for Netflix, but still, it's originally done in Spanish, I did find that a little weird, that all of the screen text, because it's not like they're saying it out loud. And
Right.
so I'm just like, well, how's that translating for the original country of origin?
Yeah.
Because it's not being said out loud. But I don't know. I like, yes, it was very like followed
Yeah.
the algorithm and the
Yeah. Had a
equations.
formula.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
followed the formula, but I like that
Yeah.
they made it modern. They added,
Mm.
you know, there was the commentary. There was the commentary on social media, like how people mob mentality, like the fact they were
Yeah.
rooting for this thing to actually kill people.
Yeah, the whole influencer thing was very interesting. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I do like that they integrated that in and they show
Mhm.
how easily the mob mentality can get people to kind of sway in a way that's like, whoa, you really
In
want
a
people to
creepy way.
die? Like they're
Yeah.
all, yeah, kill the heroine next, kill her, kill her. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's
Oh man.
awful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was interesting though. They had a lot of clever things in the film, for sure. But it was funny because I remember when they had the reveal of the what was who was he, the emo, the reveal of the emo being the guy. I was kind of like,
No, the emo was her boyfriend.
oh no, oh right, the boyfriend was the emo. Who was he? I forgot what he labeled himself as, but whatever. But that guy, but him. But it was funny because so when it was revealed that he was the one planning it, I was like, yeah, no duh. But then I was like, wait a second, how the heck was he getting over there, and how was he at this place, and wasn't he here when he was supposed to be over there? All right, there better be some twist, or I'm gonna be upset with the holes because we got some big holes right now. And then when they introduced the girl, I was like, oh, okay, I'll allow it. Fine, sounds good.
It was like he was very Billy Loomis in a lot of his mannerisms,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, "Okay, he's definitely one." And then when they were at the, carnival and
Mm.
they were the girl was being killed and he was somewhere
Right.
else, I was like, "Okay,
Right.
there's 2." Like, my head just
Yeah.
went, "There's
There
2
had
of
to
them."
be.
I'm like, "I don't know who the second is, but there's 2."
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was like there had to be. Like, come on. Yeah, for
Right? It's
sure.
like, thanks, Scream. You kind of ruined it for us, but but not
Yeah,
really.
I know. It's like, sorry, Scream did it first. Sorry,
Right?
guys.
Exactly. I honestly figured it was the girl only because everybody
Mm.
else's bodies were found,
Oh,
and
true, true, true,
hers was
true.
the only one that
Was the
wasn't.
only one that like vanished. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, because at first none of them were, right? Like they couldn't find
Right.
them. But then when they all started boom, boom, boom being found and being, killed in
Yeah.
person, I was like, oh, okay, she was never found. There's something
Right.
with that. But
Yeah.
I still liked it. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting.
It was enjoyable. I like, on a 10 scale, I'd say it's a good like 7. Like I wouldn't say it's average. I would say it's a little bit better than average, but I wouldn't say it's like great in the 8, 9 land of horror movies. I'd say it's a good 7. If you got that, and what I appreciate is that it's not long. I think that's very appreciated. It's something you could jump into, you could bang it out quick, and you could have some fun and watch people die in some cool ways. Like they had some good deaths in there. Nothing was too
They had a hot
common.
sex scene too.
Yeah, they had a cool sex scene, which was funny because after they had the sex scene, I was like, you just killed yourself. You never have sex in the middle of serial killings. Hello,
Right?
Come
Nobody
on now.
follows the rules. Jeez.
You know what I mean? It was like, listen, if you're in a group of people and you guys are all being chased by a killer, don't have sex. You automatically nix yourself out.
Absolutely.
The guys are we're all fodder. But if you're a female, don't have sex. You're asking to get whacked. Don't do it.
I loved visually the film. It was very neon. The colors were like the pinks and the purples and the reds, and they used a lot of cool backlighting with the colors. So I
Mhm.
love the palette that they chose because it did feel really vibrant. I mean, if you can
Yeah.
describe that for
Yeah.
murder, it's like this is a very vibrant murder film.
Yeah, for sure. No,
It-
it was good. It was definitely well shot.
Mhm.
It was well shot. It was obviously following some kind of formula, but it felt familiar and yet new
Yep.
at the same time.
Right. Yeah, it was giving me some I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes.
Yeah,
A little bit. I mean,
absolutely, for
I,
sure.
I actually half expected a shot with the heroine. Where are you? And the whole camera spinning around bullshit. I was waiting for it,
Where are you?
but no.
Come and get me. Yeah. So that was a fun one. That was a good one.
I like that they were able, for me at least, to translate what kind of disgust I was feeling for the community of like internet people that are like rooting for everyone to die. They were
Mm,
still able to translate that a little bit onto me myself as a viewer,
mm,
because her boyfriend's there trying to protect her. He's
right.
about to get murdered at the school while she's having sex with some other guy her boyfriend's been warning her about. And so I'm like, ew, you get what's coming to you. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I actually am despising this girl. She is being awful to her boyfriend the entire film.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you get whatever's coming to you, you trollop. And yet there he is still trying to save her. It's like, Mr. Captain Save a Hoe, this is not the one. Find someone else. You have options.
Oh
I'm
gosh.
awful, but I like that the writer was able to evoke that from me.
Yeah. Well, I think there was kind of like there was in the reviews kind of like a general consensus that a lot of people kind of felt, especially towards that point. But there was a little bit of a distaste for the heroine. Like there was a distaste. Like you weren't necessarily rooting for her. Which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm okay with that.
me
I
too.
don't mind not liking the main character every now and again, especially if they are very obviously a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she accidentally murdered someone and she cheated on her boyfriend in the same movie. Like,
She
damn, dude.
accidentally murdered someone.
You're like shit, but Alicia's like, I'm sorry, guys. He bumped into me and he died. He got skewered. It was like, yo, you just accidentally skewered someone. Not a small thing.
But it was when they do the flashback, it was whatever what was his trope?
Yeah,
He
I don't
wasn't
even
the emo,
remember.
but in the flashback, he actually like stabbed or did something to him.
Yeah, he like cut his face or
Yeah,
something.
to
Yeah.
Yeah,
cause
yeah.
him to be like, I
To like
can't
blind
see,
it
and
or
bump into
whatever.
her
Yeah.
and fall. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
technically it was more so him, but still her mess. She agreed to go along with it.
Exactly, because truth
Yeah.
be told, it was just you couldn't plan her being there. So presumably,
Yeah.
the guy was going to run down the hall. He was going to catch him and then
Do
murder him
something to
anyway.
him. Yeah.
It just kind of it was the cherry on the cake. Like, well, shit, I didn't even have to do it.
She
Sweet.
did it.
Now she got guilt on her side. I'm totally gonna sleep with her now. You know what I mean?
Woo!
Like,
Nikki time.
right? Let that guilt seep in.
I love how his internet girlfriend didn't even care about that. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. She wasn't even phased. She
yeah.
was kind of like, whatever. I'm just upset you stole my story. Like,
Like, I can't believe he took my story.
like okay.
So my question to you on the
Yeah.
ending, without giving spoilers, is
Oh yeah.
do you think, given the entire premise of the film and what we saw throughout the film, do you think that final shot was a full hallucination, or do you think it was real?
I don't know. She's kind of basket Casey. I'm thinking it was a hallucination. Like at that point, she went through so much trauma. I think she's just screwed up for
She's
the
a
rest of her
basket
life.
case. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's totally screwed up for the rest of her life. I don't think it. Like there's no way she can live through all that and then just be like, well, I'm normal. I'm back in school now. Like no, you walked away with some really screwed up trauma. But I mean, it'd be fun if it was real. But it was like it was too. Everybody was there and then everybody's gone. It's like, come on, that doesn't just happen unless she just stood in a daze for like 6 hours,
Possible.
which could happen.
Say,
Which could be,
Mushrooms do
wasn't
that
gonna
too.
pass her.
right? Could happen.
What about you, John? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely hallucination. Yeah, I don't think we need a sequel anymore either. So,
Nah.
but yeah, keep it at that. Leave it at that. Good fun film, like you said. Just
Yeah.
crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Crazy. I like that's the final thing. Crazy bitch.
Yeah, there you go. Turn the brain off and enjoy.
Yes.
Don't have to think too hard about it.
Can we all agree her boyfriend looked better with dark hair though at the end?
Yeah, like the whole Eminem
Yeah.
thing, like trying to
Wasn't
be
working for him.
Yeah, it was not working at all. Sorry,
No, not doing it.
so Slim Shady. Like no.
Yeah. That's so Slim Shady.
Now,
Oh,
being that we
God.
are in the spooky season, so we're allowed to say fucked up stuff.
Word.
Out of all the kills in the movie, which was your most visual favorite?
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a well the dude the evil dude, when he got skewered, he face planted into the skewer, right?
Mhm.
If I'm remember, I think that was good because
Yeah, he
I
did. He
think I
was
liked the because I liked the teachers because it was accidental and because you really wanted it to happen. Because he was a bad person anyway. So you're kind of like, yeah, this guy, he had that coming. But then the villain, he also had that coming, but man, in like a totally different fashion and on the same statue. I thought that was kind of cool. It was like kind of kind of brought it all the way, all back around. I thought that was kind of cool. So I like that it ended kind of in, or at least his arc ended in that way. So I like that. But yeah, I think a good, one story face plant into a spike that's a pretty dope death.
That was a sharp ass spike, man. Like, how the hell? Like, holy crap.
Or it was blunt. And if it was blunt, that was like, that makes it even worse. The
Even
idea of it
worse.
being blunt, just like, like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
smash through. Yeah.
I find it interesting you bring up the face down, face up, because when the professor dies, he's face up. So he's seeing
Right.
her and she's
Right,
reaching
right,
for
right.
him like she's somehow going to save him. So it's like she's the last thing he sees. And then with the fellow, who caused it all,
Right.
he's face down.
Right.
And so he's seeing, it's kind of like the just desserts. Like, this is what that guy experienced.
Like they both definitely got, what they deserved.
Yeah, that
in
was
the
cool.
end.
In
Oh,
the
yeah.
end.
In the end.
What about you, John?
I don't know. There were so many.
Yeah,
There were so many deaths.
There were so many. They were all pretty cool in their own freaking way. I have to agree with Rob though. That was just fucked up either way.
Yeah.
How about you?
What was there? I'm forgetting the characters' names. In the greenhouse.
Oh,
That's my
yes.
favorite because
Yes.
she's watching it, she sees it happen, but then it's actually the scene when she falls into the fountain.
And then
And then it's just like the
I like
blood.
that. That was great.
Red fountain blood. And I'm like, ooh, that's a pretty shot.
And that was
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
great
nice red,
visual.
too. I like
It
that red.
was. So I thought that was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
I did think they went a little too on the nose, because you had, what was his name? Was it Sebas? I mean, it was cool that, it came full circle with how the professor died. But again, I think that doing it once is cool, but doing it like too much within a film, I'm just like, okay, too on the nose too often. Because then you have the girl who is it Alicia? She also has the same because of what she did to her mom, and then she has the same ending. So
True.
maybe use the same plot device once. I don't know. Yeah.
Once. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. You don't want to replay the same gag more than once.
Because then it just starts to feel like a moral of the story. Like, look, karma will get you, and it will happen to you too. That's just for me, though. I thought it was a visually pretty film. And I thought the clown costumes, like everybody, that was brilliant, by the way. The clown getting everybody to dress up as a clown and go to this big carnival. I'm like, that's so brilliant.
Right.
I want to know whose idea that was. Was it Sebas or Alicia?
Probably his. I don't think she's
I
don't know.
Kind of psycho. But she read a lot of books.
Right. I mean, I enjoyed that part too. Again, going back to Scream 2, it reminded me of Scream 2 when they're looking for the killer on the campus, going and checking all the phones. So it's stuff we've seen before, but done kind of differently, which is cool. So
little love notes. So would you
Yes.
recommend it to people this Halloween season, this spooky season?
I would. As a fun, I would recommend that to maybe somebody a little more in the less acquainted to horror kind of fan. Somebody just getting into stuff. I think that's a good one to get your feet wet with. I feel it's safe. I feel like it's a safe horror flick.
It's a good gateway film for sure. All right, you brought us The Ritual. So did you watch The Ritual yet?
I have not watched The Ritual yet.
Okay, we'll skip that one. John didn't like it.
Ironically, okay, so here's the thing. Ironically
John.
all of these except for one, I had already on my list to watch, which is totally weird and ironic. But The Ritual I did watch once, and I think I fell asleep during it or something and didn't. I That's why I didn't like it. Like I fell asleep and I
Dang.
never finished it. But upon rewatch, I will say I did enjoy it,
Okay.
and we'll leave it at that.
All right.
I have seen it before and I liked it. I think that if you're an aggressive horror fan where you like it really in your face,
Mm.
this maybe isn't the one for you because this is a more slower paced, slower reveal
Mhm.
film. And so I think that if you're like a horror junkie who needs that like and tension and torture and everything, this probably isn't one that you'd want on your list.
Mm.
I, however, think that it is a solid horror story. More on the yes, it has supernatural vibes to it, but it is a lot more about like psychological trauma and torture. So
Mm.
I liked it though.
Nice. Okay, good.
Good character building. So
Nice. Yeah. That's I think next on my list. See, now here's the thing with October, it's also the one month that I get to actually bring my wife out of her cave of security and rom-coms and like bring her to the dark side for a handful of times. So I always have to see which horror movie I can bring to the table cuz that's an understanding of ours since we got married. I'm like, if once it's October, you have to watch 4 horror movies and that's it.
this might be tame enough for her.
Yeah. Okay, cuz we did Killer Book Club and she was kind of like, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." I was like, "Yeah."
This one might be tame enough. It's very like, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, it's very like Blair Witch vibes
Yes,
without it being as intense Blair Witch. It's not
absolutely.
found footage,
Okay.
but it's very much similar vibes. So
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I agree with that statement for sure.
Nice.
did you watch El Conde?
El Conde, I did see that one, and that one was interesting.
John just rolled his eyes.
Oh no! Why?
I sorry, this is like one of the ones that I hated the most. I could not stand this fucking movie. Sorry.
Oh no! How come?
I don't know. It just did not capture my attention from the get go. I'm
Gotcha.
struggling to watch this thing. I was just like, I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't like it.
Okay, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting just knowing, like because the character. I mean, he's based on an actual like historical figure, um, and I think that's what made it kind of interesting to kind of to think about. Because for anybody that doesn't know, Augusto Pinochet was an actual dictator in Chile. Like he actually existed. He did. He was a dictator of Chile for like 15, 20 years. Not the greatest person. So the idea of him as an undead creature from France was kind of funny. So I definitely got its kind of satire, I guess, because I think that's ultimately what they were going for the movie was kind of satirizing this historical figure, you know.
I would have liked it if it was more show than tell. I think that's the part that hung me,
Mm,
like I got hung up on
okay,
is for me it was too much narration. It was
gotcha.
like we get like Royal Tenenbaums vibes, right? Like they're all these awkward
Yeah.
family members that come together and I'm like, okay, that works. And you have this guy who's discontent, like today's the day I die. And it's just like, okay, well, you've said that for how long?
Mm,
In the characters themselves, I think had a lot of promise for me
mhm.
and I wanted to like it,
Yeah.
but the narration was just like
It's
too
heavy-handed.
much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it was like
heavy-handed.
if they had just pulled back
Mhm.
on that, I think I would have and shown more. I
Right.
would have liked the film more. I did like the historical nods. Like I laughed when it's like Margaret
Margaret
Thatcher
Thatcher, yeah.
lived. And like
Yeah.
those were fun
Yeah.
and those pieces of history they talk
Yeah.
about. I like when
Yeah, I
movies
thought
do
it was
that,
it's
but
clever. It was interesting.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it was just too much narration.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. A little I will absolutely admit it is very talky. And definitely now this is one while I know I did enjoy to a degree, this is one I probably won't recommend. Unless like I feel like this is a movie that would only land on a very niche kind of audience.
I would only throw it to like abstract horror people.
Yeah, yeah, that's why. Like this is a very niche flick.
Mhm.
But it has some saving graces to it that keep it interesting. But again, you have to be interested in it. So like if you're not into anything historical at all, like this is not at all for you. Like you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna be fun. I feel like this is a movie that's hard to enjoy as it is without having some appreciation for the history that it's kind of coming from, because it's very much kind of like a black comedy ultimately, you know.
It really is. It's a black comedy with horror elements,
Right.
if you could even say that,
Right,
'cause
right. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
more of what he did as well, not a person, but in his role as military, is the horror versus what he did as a vampire, so
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
you know what it felt like to me is, like, I felt like Interview with the Vampire, you know how he did there's a lot of narration?
Yeah.
I
Right.
think it could have landed better for me if they just pulled it back a bit.
Mm.
It was, like, just the constant narration. I'm like, "Why don't you just let the scenes do their own talking? Show it to us."
Give me the goods, damn it.
That's 'cause, you know, we don't have to it's not an audiobook. We can watch it,
Right, yeah,
so
exactly. It's like, you can show me the
Right.
fun.
you
Show
could.
me the money.
I would
It's like,
love to see that. Show me that.
Yeah.
yes.
I will say this, however, is I did like some of the context that they added to vampires, like vampire lore. They added some segments to that we haven't, at least I haven't, experienced in vampire movies up until this point, like the lore, what happens if you eat vampire hearts versus human
Mm.
hearts, and that whole like how it affects a vampire's aging. I'm like, oh, that's new. That's kind of cool. They kind of threw it in way last minute, but it was fun.
Yeah, and I think that's nice because sometimes, especially when it comes to the lore of OG horror staple creatures, I feel like sometimes they might play with the same concept and maybe alter the origin of the concept, but not just completely introduce something new. So I think that's always kind of
Mhm.
like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yes.
like, oh, they're allergic to silver, but it's because of this. And then in another movie it'll still be silver, but it's actually because of this. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, it's still the same thing, but fine. So it's nice to see like new stuff introduced every now and then, whether it's to benefit or to hurt them. I think it's always nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
New rules to the world. I love it. I'm
uh,
here for it. I'm like, yeah, give me something new to sink my teeth into.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Miss Lunar Goddess.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, and I'm with you. I wouldn't generally recommend that. If I
No,
knew people that like weird horror, I would say, "Yeah, okay, go with this one."
right.
But as a general, "Hey, guys, I think you should watch this."
As a general, like, yeah, this wouldn't go on my list of recos for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys watch Hellhole?
That one I need to get to because I keep hearing good things about it, and I'm upset I haven't watched it yet.
Did you watch it, John?
I did. That one was rough for me too. I had to rewatch it again. The ending got better. Like towards I don't know. I kept seeing the tree, and this is all I'm going to say. I kept seeing the tree and thinking Harry Potter with the Whomping
The
Willow.
Whomping Willow.
Yes. Every time I saw it, I'm like, it's the Whomping Willow. Do something, Willow. But it never did.
Do
But I did
something.
enjoy it.
You're like, "Whomp 'em."
Oh god.
Whoop 'em.
Give him an ass whomping.
Yes.
Ah,
What'd
Hellhole.
you think?
I fucking loved it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm on the other camp, John. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's a mental twist.
Mm.
It's like you're in it with the character. At least for me, everything they were going through, I'm just like, oh, that's trippy. Is that real? Is it not? What the fuck? That's crazy. What's going on? They had me on my toes. Sometimes movies, oftentimes because we've seen so many, we can kind of guess our way through. We know where it's going. And with this, I'm like, oh, hell no, I did not see that coming at
Right.
all.
Plot twist. Like,
What? Plot twist. Like it's in your face the whole time, but you don't realize that's what it's building to. I loved that. So,
yeah.
oh yeah, I loved it. I was about it.
Nice. That's yeah. I've been and for the most part, I mean, I've seen some. It's gotten mixed reviews overall. But the folks that like it really like it. So it's like it goes to show you. You know, I mean, that's again, that's horror for you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna land well for some, and it's just not. It's not gonna hit for others. You know, that's the beauty of it. So yeah, that's interesting to see you guys have a
I
split
think it's
decision.
because it's a slow pace one. It's another
Slow
slow pace.
burn.
So you have to be okay
Yeah.
with the slow burn and the slow build,
Gotcha.
but the build pays off. And
It
so
does.
I will say that like if you're patient to build with the film, because it gives you enough. It's not like, oh my God, when is it going to start? It gives you enough along the way so you have something to kind of like climb with.
Mm,
And then when it like, full boom, this is our climax, it's like, woo, that was a journey, wasn't that?
mm. Interesting.
And I know, John, you said you like the end best. For me,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that if you're going to show me something, I don't want to spoil this for you, so I'm going to keep it very
Yeah.
vague. But if you're going to show me something, it better be much better than my mind can imagine it, because otherwise that's when I'm going to be like, oh,
That's okay.
really? And some people probably do appreciate
Mm.
those things because in their head they're like, oh yeah, that's on track, that tracks. But for me, I'm just like, oh, that almost feels cartoonish.
Hmm.
Nuts. But because the rest was so amazing, I'm like, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take
Yeah,
it. It's
I
fine.
can see that. I can see that coming from you.
I'll take that.
She's got such a dark, twisted imagination that nothing can suffice. I'm just kidding.
I think that in this film, I almost think if they hadn't shown you that, they'd shown everything else, the reactions and how it was affecting everything else,
That'd
it
have been
would have
better.
been way scarier. Like
Yeah.
you only get to see what else is being affected. You don't get to see that. That I think then I would have been like, fuck, give it a 10.
Yeah.
Give it a full
Absolutely.
10. Because I felt that kind of pull back a bit, like cartoonish. For me, I would say, okay, that bumps it back down to maybe like a 9. So, but still high up there.
I was gonna
Nice.
say 9's still good. 9's good. Yeah, I
Ah,
definitely would give it a 9 as well.
I
nice.
would recommend it. Like I would tell, like that would make my general list. I actually saw my mom today. I'm like, Mom, add Hellhole to your.
Nice.
She loves horror, so I'm like, add it. She's like,
Dope.
okay.
There you go. If you could recommend it to Mom, that's a good movie. That's a good flick.
Mom loves horror, so
Nice.
I was like, add it. That one's on the list.
Nice.
So then, Blood Red Sky.
Yeah, man. I had been waiting. I don't know why. Like that movie sat in my queue for such a long time, and it looked interesting, and I just didn't see it. And then finally, I was kind of like, no, I gotta catch this movie, and I thought it was cool.
German film.
Yeah. German flick. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was very different. It like
It started
mixed.
not like a horror
Yeah,
film.
because they like mixed two genres. I'm like, all right, am I watching like Passenger 51? And then it like it's not that. Like now it's Underworld on a plane. What's happening in this movie? Like, what's going on? They're taking me for a ride here.
I mean, okay, so the first few scenes, you've got Graham McTavish, and I'm just like, I turned it off to check the synopsis to make sure I got
The
the
right
right
movie,
film.
right?
Because I'm like, Graham McTavish doesn't do horror
Yeah,
films.
yeah, for sure.
I'm so glad I wasn't the only one. Okay. So I was like,
Yeah.
wait, is this the right one? Like, I'm pretty sure this isn't the right one.
Yeah, but I think that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
It's such a swerve. Like, man, this is a swerve and a half right now, guys. Like, what is this?
Oh, I definitely felt the swerve, but I
Yeah,
liked it.
I thought it was
I
dope.
like you said, it started like a completely different film,
Mm.
and it like, is this gonna be an action film? What is
Right?
this?
Like you get like Air Force One vibes. Like, oh, this is
Yeah,
gonna be like an
yeah.
airplane hijacking, like,
Like,
flick, and then no, it's not. Like, it's not that
like
at all.
it is, but it's not.
It's not that at all. Hang on, because it's gonna get crazier.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, you're waiting for where's the horror? Like, this is
Yeah.
interesting. The story's building, and
Mhm.
I'm here, but where's the horror? And then when the horror hits, it's like, this is that kind of movie? Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was really well done. Like it's such a cool mashup of concepts. Like this is an absolute mashup of concepts. That worked. I felt it worked. You know what I mean? Which is really cool. And I'm always a fan of seeing Dominic Purcell in movies, so I just enjoy
As
him.
one is.
I just enjoy him.
Me too.
Right.
If he's in it, I'm a
I knew.
fan.
See, that's all I knew was like that he was in
Right.
it at first, and I was like, all right, where the hell is he? Like, come on, where's Mr. Prison Break?
Yeah, where's
I
Prison Break?
was actually waiting for him too. I'm like, where is he? I don't see him. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, once he's on screen, you're like, all right, we're in for a ride. This is gonna be a good one.
Yep. Buckle up, bitches. We got turbulence.
Yeah.
Yes.
His presence is amazing. That's what this felt like. Turbulence. The
Yes.
airplane movies with the hijackers.
Yes.
Turbulence meets like you said, the underworld.
Yeah, it was cool. I thought it was I thought it was well shot. I like the mom reveal. I thought that was kind of cool. I like the way they introduced that, and kind of where it came from. It wasn't like, oh, I've been living forever with this thing. Like she's not exactly a fan of what she is. Which is nice. I think that's a refreshing take on being a vampire, because it always seems like vampires are absolutely love what they are, to some capacity, or they absolutely hate what they are, but they just kind of accept it. And she's a mom in this position, which is, I think, very interesting.
Yeah, it adds a layer of terror.
Yeah, it's scary.
And not only is she a mom, she's a single mom.
A single mom, right.
Trying to raise a newborn.
Yeah,
and deal with this. Like, what?
Yeah, not to mention that the reason you are said vampire is because of the reason that you have no husband.
You're now, yeah.
You're now like mom. You're a widow and a vampire now because of why you're a widow. Like shit. Like that's brutal. She's dealing with a lot right now. Like holy crap. As a mom, that's a lot of heavy plates to spin.
It is. One of my favorite scenes actually is the flashback of her in the apartment and the baby screaming. And we've all been there as a parent where our kid is just full meltdown and you're just like, oh, and she turns around and hisses at the baby and he cries even louder. Like the terror on his face. I mean, I feel bad for the baby actor that had to deliver that, but because that looked like real terror.
Yeah, for real.
But I couldn't help but laugh at that scene because I'm like, we've all been there where we're just like, oh my god, and her answer is hiss.
Yeah, and it's as a vampire mom, how do you handle this, right? Like this is how you just hiss at your kid.
You hiss at your baby. Your little human baby who's just like cries even louder.
Yeah.
The terror on that kid's face. I'm like, I hope he makes a lot of money for that, because that poor baby's gonna have to go to therapy.
I know, right? Oh god.
Speaking of which, Rob, I thought we talked about this. You're supposed to give me warnings when there's mom-child.
I know, I forgot. That was my bad. I know, that was my bad. The thing is that because I hadn't seen it prior to sending you to the list, I forgot.
Oh, you didn't know.
So I didn't know how in depth into the mother son relationship it was going to go. So I as far as I knew, that was it. So that was I hadn't screened it prior. So
oh yeah, that scene when he's trying to feed her and she's pushing him away and he's trying to hug her and she's pushing him away and he's trying to hug her. I was wrecked. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, oh, fuck, just stop trying to hug her,
I
like, she's
know.
trying to protect you."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, that was a tough. I'm sure that you did not have too much fun watching that scene.
I actually love, though, that we got to see both perspectives. We see her fierce love for him and trying to protect him,
Right.
but we also see his for her, and that was awesome.
Yeah, which is great. It's nice to see the two-way street of their
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, that one was it was cool. I mean, I think what I enjoyed so much was how because of how long I had it in my queue, and then finally jumping into it, I felt I don't know. I guess I felt more surprised by what I was watching because I felt like I had been putting it away for so long that I was kind of like, "Oh, what the hell is wrong with me?" This was such a great movie, and it's hard, because I feel, as horror fans, we're not always surrounded by many horror folks, so it's almost kind of like you're a little siloed in our tastes. So like you don't have those 8 other friends that are kind of like, "You haven't seen this yet? Why not?" So imagine, I mean, this movie came out in 21. I mean, this is not a new movie, and I'm kind of like, God, I'm so late to the party. Jeez, you know.
I mean, I don't mind being late to the party. I'm glad I watched it. Like, I
Yeah,
really liked this one.
this was absolutely a good ride. Definitely one I would recommend. I really hope Netflix doesn't pull it out anytime soon because that's a good, solid, not even horror flick, just a good solid flick.
Yeah, the actress who plays Naja, Perry Baumeister, I think. I don't know if that's how you say her name. The fact that she was able to emote so much emotion, that maternal protection,
Yeah.
that panic and protection of the world because she doesn't want the vampires to get out either. Like to be able to do all of that through that amount of prosthetics.
Yeah, really, because like she looks gnarly when she's in full vamp.
Yeah, and she
Yeah,
was able to convey everything, like
yeah,
mom protection,
yeah.
world protection, and just like fear, panic, all these things through that. And I'm like, I want to see her as an actress, not with the
Not the
prosthetics, because I
prosthetics.
bet she is phenomenal. Like she
Yeah.
sold every single thing she was supposed to deliver, and then some. I loved that. She was a very strong character.
Yes.
So was Eight Ball.
Oh, word. Good call. Yeah, absolutely.
You have villains that you love to hate, and I fucking loved him. I hated that character, and oh, he was him as a vampire?
Oh man, yeah. Like it was he did a pretty phenomenal job at making you not like you want to see the worst happen to him, and because like he ends up doing so much, and then he becomes a vamp, and you're kind of like, why isn't this guy dying? Why aren't worse things happening to this guy? But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Like you needed him to be that extreme and that loathsome, so
Yes.
that we can cheer for this. To cheer for Naja. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not the beautiful princess of the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's also this hell creature that is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like very interesting.
That's what I loved about these vampires. They were not sexy. They
No,
were
not at all. They were
terrifying.
just the freakiest looking creatures. Which is again like you said, like it's nice to see them as the creatures they are, you know what I mean? Because I feel like some vampire movies, they're glamorized until they feed. Like the only time they
Mhm.
look scary is when they feed. It's like they're still creatures though, you know what I'm saying? They are still creatures to some capacity, and I like that they play with that idea of making them more feral and animalistic as creatures. You know what I'm saying? It shows more of a transformation than just, you know, I'm human. Oh, I'm a vampire now. I still look human. Now I got pointy teeth. Like that's it. That's all that happens. Well, it's kind of lame.
It makes you wonder though, because she didn't have hair, if the suppressant is what caused her hair loss. Because if you notice, all the other vampy vamps, they still had their hair.
You
Or
know
is
what?
that like an
Yeah.
overtime thing? Because the guy at the beginning had
That's true.
suppressants too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did also. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that's an idea that could. I don't know.
Because her transformation, like her full transformation, like that when she's the full creature.
Towards the end? Yeah.
Like the full eyes and the everything. It was subtle because she's been transforming the more she feeds
Right.
and rages out.
Yeah.
But like that final one, it's like, oh, like there's no question. The makeup artist is leaving no question.
Yeah.
That is full creature now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved her.
Yes.
And 8-Ball.
Yes.
8-Ball was terrifying as a vampire.
Yeah,
Yes.
they really made the movie enjoyable. Because you absolutely had your hero and you absolutely had your villain, or at least you knew who you were rooting for and you knew who needed to go down, and that's pretty cool. Especially the fact that they were both the same creature as opposed to like human versus vamp or whatever. I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
Which they have to sense it in each other, right? Because they're the hijack vamps. Once they've all been kind of turned, and I know we're doing spoilers, guys, so sorry. Spoilers. Hijack vamps. Once they're all turned, and the others, they're still going after her. They're still fighting her. Like 8-Ball is coherent enough,
to know that that's my
you're
enemy.
still my you're still my opponent.
Yeah, for sure.
But then once she's finally like in her full mode, they left her alone. She's like the first one off the plane. She's like, let's get him.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's just something they sense in each other. I don't know, but I'm curious why they didn't have the full blood frenzy that she did, or do they? Because he still seemed to have a mission, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Versus like just eat, it's like convert, spread.
Yeah, it's like another kind of like, like something
Motivation.
in their in their like DNA now has changed that forces them to do something else. Yeah, and I hear you.
Yeah, I know, but I loved it. Like I would add that to my general list as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one is a really great one to add. Especially if you're looking for something a little bit different. If you're looking for the vampire taste, but in a different scenario, this is absolutely the one.
This is like 30 Days of Night meets Air Force One.
Yeah. That's for sure.
So I have a funny question because it hit me at the end of the movie. This is awful. This is where my brain goes.
Uh-oh.
So our character friend that she chops his hand off. So, the infection doesn't spread. How did they handcuff him? He was handcuffed at the end.
Oops.
Oh. Did somebody not catch that in editing? I didn't even think about that. Wow.
I was just saying he's got like the arm support still wrapped around like the bandage around his neck because it's loose because his arm's behind him. And they even say like cuff him, uncuff him. And it's like, how is he cuffed?
Oh boy. Oh, I didn't think maybe they have a stump specific cuff.
They cuffed the nub.
They just cuffed the nub. It's gonna hurt. He's not pulling out of this one.
It out.
He's not gonna pull out of this one.
The movie ended, and that's the first thing I thought was, how'd they cuff him?
Of course it was. Dang it, you, Ash.
It distracted me from the sad moment, where I was like, don't cry. Hey, how'd they cuff him?
Like, wait.
She needed that. Yeah, she needed the cuff thing there.
Oh,
but I'm still curious how. Because he still had the arm, so they had to have known, like, hey, we had
Jeez.
his arm. That's why he needed that because he has no hand. Like,
Oh man, that's too funny.
I don't know. I don't know what they did. Did they just like zip tie his arms together? I don't know.
Maybe.
Because they literally said
Stop
uncuff
asking
him.
questions.
Right.
Accept it for what
Hey,
it was.
I got a really bad joke for you.
Uh-oh.
Ready.
Do it.
Okay. What did the cannibal do after dumping his wife?
Wipe his ass? Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Oh, damn it, man! Oh.
Gross.
I don't know what's worse, the joke or the fact that I got the punch. Just shows you where my head is at. Great.
Right.
Damn it.
Always in the potty.
I'm screwed up. What can I say?
That's funny. I'm not gonna lie, Emma watched it too.
Nice. That doesn't surprise me though. Emma's like
She
likes
thought it
that
was
stuff.
amazing. So
Yeah. How old is
like
she?
she's going to be 13 soon.
Oh, okay. It's
Holy
not so
crap.
bad. Not so bad.
Yeah. No, and
You're getting so
she
old.
loved it. So I'm like,
Nice.
all right.
Nice.
She's my girl. She's coming
There you-
along well.
There you
We're
go. There
on
you
the
go.
horror journey.
Yeah. See, I wish I could have started my kids as early as I did, but yeah, no, not at all.
You can't do that. She just started doing more of the like true horror films, and I guess my litmus test for her was she watched chapter 1 of the new It movies,
Oh,
and she loved it. So I'm like, if you can handle that, then we're good in a range.
yeah.
I'm
for
still
sure.
not going to do the possession films with her. I think that freaks people out.
Yeah, they hit different.
There's
do.
one that's not that bad. It's not that great either. It's the Pope's Exorcist.
I want to watch that. I haven't watched it
That
yet.
one's on Netflix. I watched it while it was in theaters. I was disappointed, but I mean, I think it's one of those easier ones to watch. But
Okay.
I mean, since we've seen a lot, there's a lot to kind of go and against. pretty
Yeah,
much,
I think
so.
I think I saved that one in my list. Yeah, religious exorcism movies. I tend to take at a slow pace because after a while I'm just
There's
kind of
too many.
like again. You know what I mean?
So we get it. The devil's bad.
Exactly. Oh no, it's not that demon. It's a different demon. Okay,
There's
like,
a different demon.
There's
Yeah.
like thousands of them. Jeez.
Like honestly, for me, it's kind of like if it's not gonna be as fun as Drag Me to Hell, I mean, it's just gonna take a while for me to watch it. Because Drag Me to Hell was just so fun.
Now I'm curious. There's claims that so many people are possessed in the world, like probably millions of people. There aren't that many demons. So can demons possess more than one
Like
person at the same
multiple
time?
possessions?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, are they
Have
putting
they ever
in
done that in a
overtime?
movie?
I don't. Ish.
I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Multiple
Ish.
possession by the same creature?
Well, the new Exorcist movie. I haven't watched it, but the implication
know,
is it's
yeah.
the same demon possessing both girls.
Interesting. Apparently, it's not doing very well though.
No, I've heard it's not doing well, but the concept is there. A demon is possessing
Yes.
two at the same time,
Okay.
but they're in close proximity. Aren't there demons like in different countries?
I would like to see one demon possess a group, and then that group do like stuff.
Things.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Mass,
think so.
Mass possession, mass exorcism. I think that'd be dope.
Because in Night of Demons, did Angela possess them one by one, or were they all possessed at the same time? Do you remember? That's long. I'm taking it way back.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, you haven't seen Night of Demons?
I have not.
The 80s? It's 80s, right, John?
Yeah, very like I think 83, 84 maybe.
Moreira, you better add that to your list. They did the remake.
Yeah,
I would
thought that was
watch the original, not the remake.
The 88.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So watch that, and then I want to know your thoughts on that because I think the implication is that the demon that is Angela it's just one, right, John? That's getting all of them. It's not like, or is it
believe so.
demons, like multiple demons? I don't know.
All right. I'll check it out.
Now
You
I'm
be the
curious.
judge.
Go
You
on.
be the judge. Tell us your perspective.
I will give you my expert,
Give me your expert
advice.
opinion. It's a fun little flick. And of course, it's
Nice.
the 80s, so you get like gratuitous, sex and
All the
Oh,
boobs
yeah.
and all that.
Yes.
All the naughties.
All the
All the
naughties.
boobies.
I think there's like a lipstick scene with boobs. I don't know.
Boy.
John's just like,
Maybe
yeah.
it's there. Yeah,
Don't
it's there.
maybe don't subject your wife to that one.
No.
No.
She's gonna be like, really, Moreira? This is why
I
you
know.
watch
So
this?
like, this is what you're bringing to the table. Like, sorry, honey.
Sorry.
Sorry,
I didn't
babe.
know. Blame Ashley.
This is the Luna goddess's fault, not mine.
Oh no, don't blame it on me. Now, Rob, do you have any new projects coming out that you want to talk about or anything you want to shout out to?
Latest is I am a new character actually in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links mobile game. I was already in the game before as Bronx Stone. It was really cool. He was one of the playable characters, but now in the new Sevens Rush Duel world, you'll actually find me as an NPC character that you can duel called a Goha Soldier. So you'll actually get to hear me there, which is pretty cool. So that's the latest fun thing that I'm doing, but I got a couple of other big projects that are on the horizon I can't talk about just yet. And I do have one audiobook for the audiobook fans that are out there. It's called there's one called The Golden Gate. It came out roughly a month ago and just won an Earphones Award from Audiophile Magazine, which is really cool. They really enjoyed it. Wrote a very nice review of the book, and they enjoyed my narration and my character work, which is really cool. But it's a dope story. So if you're into LA Confidential, if you like that movie, this book is kind of like that. It's like a murder happens, and it's a hard-boiled OG noir detective style kind of audiobook, and it's really cool. I let my wife just hear the preview of it on Amazon, and when it stopped, she was like, "Wait, where's the rest?" And I was like, you want to hear the rest? And she was like, "Yeah, like it sounded really cool." I was like, "Dope." So it is very a very interesting story. It's pretty cool. It's kind of spooky, but yeah, it's like a OG kind of whodunit.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the award, but also just being a part of that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome too. The writer Amy Chua, she's known for she's done a couple of nonfiction books, and that's really what she's known for. So this was actually her first fiction book. And the thing is, she's already like a New York Times bestseller. So this was kind of like a big deal, like on several levels. Like one for her because this was her first big fiction outing, but also for the publishers because they're like, "Yo, she breaks records, man! Like this got a hit." And the book, when the book came out, people were loving the book, and then the audiobook came out, and people have just been really digging it. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, man, this is pretty dope. Like I didn't know what to expect. But what's cool is that in the audiobook, when you finish listening to it, at the end, there's she and I actually get a chance to interview each other. So you get to hear a combo between me and the author. And she ends up actually spilling the tea when they were casting. And she told me, she was just like, yeah, when we heard your audition, me and all the producers were all kind of like, that's the guy, that's the detective, that's him. And I was like, no way. She was like, yeah, like we heard your voice and we just knew it was you. I was like, oh, how cool is that to hear from like the author? You know what I mean? Like that's so wild. Like this is her story, and to hear my voice and for her to be like, yeah, the voice that I was writing, like you're it. You have that voice. Like that's such a compliment,
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty dope.
That's
So that was
awesome.
I'm very proud of that book. But yeah, it's called The Golden Gate by Amy Chua.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go listen to it. Usually I'm
Please
not an
do.
audiobook person, but because You're my buddy. I'm gonna listen to the book.
Check it out. Let me know what you think. I mean, I would, especially if you're not an audiobook person, because I'm not either. Like I'm a, I like reading my stuff.
I like to touch the pages. Yeah.
Yeah, same. So like, if you give it a shot, let me know what you think. Let me know if you get immersed in it. Like, do I bring you in? Like, does it hit different hearing it than reading it? You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear your take specifically. Not to say I don't appreciate audiobook listeners, but especially from those that don't, I would love to see if I'm able to break you out of that, even just for those, couple hours,
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I've heard that voice talk about gimps.
I've heard this voice talk about disembowelments.
Disembowelments and daddy and zombies. Like, oh man, zombie daddies. All right.
Oh,
guys, do we have any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nothing on my end, man. Keep it scary, keep it gory. It's October, baby. Make it happen.
Yes. Stay spooky. Yes. What about you, John?
Nope. Just enjoy what's out there. Find your horror and go with it.
It almost sounded like you said find your horror.
Find your horror and go with
it.
This is not that kind of episode.
Find your horror, find your horror, whatever.
Horror. Find your horror.
However you enjoy yourself. Just do it.
Find your spooky. 'Tis the season to be spooky.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, John Thomas, you want to bring us home?
No, I'm already there. Ha
ha.
Just kidding. Thank you again, Rob, for coming on. It's always a pleasure, always a blast having you on.
Thank you. My pleasure and my honor.
And congratulations again, of course. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys bringing me back more than once. I must be doing something right.
I know you're going to come back again. We're already building another list.
Yay.
Right? We already got the whole other episode coming for you.
1, 2, we're coming for you.
Oh.
Yes. And thank you to everybody for listening to this episode of 3Haunted Podcast with your host. I'm John Thomas.
I am Ashley Lunar Goddess.
And if you have any questions, comments, or episode suggestions, please feel free to email us at 3hauntedpodcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't done so already, you are slacking because it is season 4, baby. Please like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media. You don't want to miss amazing people like Rob, amazing comedy like we give you, amazing fucking everything.
Until next time. Are you looking for more awesome podcasts? Head on over to withoutyourhead.com for access to the Without Your Head podcast network, where you'll find a variety of podcasts sure to keep you entertained and coming back for more.